got a listener question from Josiah in Atlanta, Georgia, who writes, why does yellow seem brighter than the other colors of the rainbow? In the same vein, why does violet seem darker than the other colors? Aren't all the colors of the rainbow the same brightness? Great question, Josiah. Seeing something is a function of light waves hitting the light-sensitive cells in your retina. Those cells come in two types, rods and cones. Rods work best at very low levels of light. In fact, they're so sensitive to light that they can get overwhelmed by too much of it, which is why walking into a dark room after being outdoors can make you temporarily blind. But rods don't help with color vision. That's what cones are for. Your cone cells come in three types, red, green, and blue, each of which is sensitive to that particular range of light wavelengths. Red cones make up a whopping 64% of the cone cells in your retina, and green makes up 32%. Blue cones are only 2%. But hold up, what about yellow? Well, none of these cone cells acts on its own. It's the combination of their signals that helps you see color. When red cones are excited more than green cones, you see red. When the opposite happens, you see green. When your tiny smattering of blue cones are excited more than your red or green cones, you see blue. But when your red cones and your green cones are at peak excitement and your blue cones are quiet, that's when you see yellow. That level of excitement doesn't happen for many other colors, aside from white, which is why yellow seems like it's the brightest color in the spectrum. But why does violet seem so dark? Remember, your blue cones are the ones sensitive to short wavelengths down in the blue and violet end of the spectrum, and they only make up 2% of your whole retina. They're also more light sensitive than the other cones, which means they don't need as much light to activate. As a result, you can see violet in much darker environments than you can see yellow. In fact, there's something called the Purkinje shift that happens in low light, when blues and violets actually look brighter and reds, yellows, and greens look darker. So basically, yellow looks the brightest because it requires the greatest activation of your cone cells, and violet looks the darkest because it requires the least.